welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca. Happy 12th of June to you all. So we are on this section, which of course my nails will not work to get hold of. Let's straighten ourselves up. Move over 16. Where are we going? Let's go about there. That looks like quite a fact section, but actually it's not. There's only one row off. The cover paper's only overlapping one row. So we shall go for this one. I'm going to use my pen from Elamique again today. If you watched yesterday, I felt like I didn't get to use it very much because of all the vertical lines. Oh, I've moved it over. I was like that. I was like, why does the section look so big? Because that part is completed. So I'm going to use the same pen again today, but I'm going to start with some ABs. Just have a few number 3s. Have we got any more over this side? No. I do have a couple of sort of 3s on this one that I feel aren't looking very AB-y. That makes sense. They're looking a little bit flat, so I'm just going to work round them for sort of as long as I can and then just tip the whole lot out. But yeah, there is 3. For number 2, let's do some ABs. So I'm filming this on the day. We've had lovely dramas the last few days. A house about 4 doors down from us was recently sold, and they're doing, of course, decorating, rehab, whatever else before they move in. And some bright spark there. Don't know if it was the owner, somebody that was working for them or what, because they're sort of round the corner from us. It transpires that they were doing some work and their stopcock to their water with inside the house didn't work or was seized up. Rather than fix that issue, they decided to turn off the water to multiple houses, which included ours. So they turned it off, and then apparently they turned it back on again, which caused myself and at least 2 other houses in between that we know of to have low water pressure, which was my first call to United Utilities for low water pressure. And then they decided yesterday that they were just going to turn it off again. So it came to the point that we had no water. Absolutely delightful of them. Gotta love people that live in their own little, they believe they're the only people in the world. So we had no water yesterday. We had somebody come out. He then established that this house a few doors down had actually decided to try and be the warbird and turn off the water. So he got the water back up. However, we were still experiencing problems with low water pressure. And they said, okay, if it's still happening, and more than one house still happening, then they must have damaged the turn off for the water when they've turned it off. So they sent out somebody to dig it up and have a look to fix it. I've just missed a number 3. So they sent the digger guys out, who came out at 10:30 at night last night. Bless them, they have the night shift, and they dug up outside my neighbour's drive, which we had warned her that they were coming out to dig up. So at least she was able to get her car off the drive. So yeah, so they dug that up last night. We tested the water pressure, it seemed fine. They basically, when they dug it up, it wasn't, they hadn't broken it, but the sort of valve for turning it is then surrounded by a pipe so that it can be accessed and the mud doesn't fall in the way and all that. And yeah, when they'd accessed it, or at some point when they'd been in it, a big stone or big pebble had dropped down and actually stopped it from opening fully. So they told us all that last night. That's what they'd established. So anyway, big hole. Water pressure seemed fine. Son went for a shower at about 11:30 at night. Because he has work this morning, and that's how we'd been able to establish as well that the pressure was up and down, because we have a shower that is cold water fed and it heats up the water as it goes, but if it can't heat up the water, so if there's low pressure, it just automatically switches straight to cold. So it's a good little indicator. Anyway, shower worked. Son went for a shower and it kept switching off on him part way through. So basically we are the end of that water line supply with however many houses it affects. I know it definitely affects 3. I don't know if it goes all the way to number 5, which is the one that turned it off. I don't know if it goes all the way to the 5th one, who actually caused this problem. But anyway, you gotta love a story time. Oh, new colour. Haven't used this colour yet. 3755. Not surprised. There's not many of them. Yeah, so it basically means that when somebody else further up the line, so next door but one, and potentially the other 2 houses, uses water, our pressure drops because we're the last on the list. So yeah, so that cut off on my son on and off while he's trying to have a shower last night. So we've had to call them back up again. And they're like, okay, we'll send somebody out. And the earliest appointment they had at that point was tomorrow, because we had water, albeit not a very good water. Yeah, so, but then this morning, hubby's noticed water in the hole. So where they dug the hole last night, they send somebody in the day to sort of fill it in. So another crew comes to actually refill and re-tarmac. So we've noticed water in the hole. So I was able to have a lovely conversation with a lady again today. In fact, it was actually the same lady I spoke to yesterday, which made things a little bit easier, I suppose. And yeah, she has raised it now as a potential leak. So what caused one, what caused another, I have no idea. I just know that the muppet who turned it off in the first place needs to leave stuff well alone. In fact, I'm calling him a muppet. I think there's a better word for it, and it's an Irish word called Egypt. Love that word. Yeah, so we've had, you know, a good different few days over the last couple of days dealing with that, and also, you know, trying to get on with what is our busy life. Hubby thinks I'm okay putting the washer on today, because I've not been able to put the washing machine on either, because there's either been, of course, very low pressure or no water. But he reckons I'll be good today, because it just, you know, it just may take longer to fill, but it will hit a certain fill point, and just, if need be, a wash load will take longer. So I'm at least doing a couple of loads of washing today, because I was already behind. And now I'm even more behind. And I'm not paying attention to which pen I'm using. So yeah. So if I seem a little bit off, frazzled, different, yes, it is one of those days today where I am trying to cram everything in because of water dramas and multiple visits interrupting my day yesterday when they first came to look and were between me and next door but one, because next door wasn't in. I didn't get to film this last night as I wanted to. So yeah, so I'm filling it in today. You won't hear Luna today for today's whip and waffle because she is off at the groomers, or as I call my little bit of doggy daycare. So she's currently at the groomers and will hopefully come back smelling of baby talc. I quite like the fact she comes back smelling of talc. It's just a spray that they're able to put on her after she's been all cleaned. She doesn't like it, but we enjoy it. So yeah, so I am currently, of course, filming today's whip and waffle. Still have loads and loads of comments, which I will go to now. I just thought I'd give you a little update and a little explanation if I sound like I'm a little bit all over the place. It's just because we're having one of those weeks. Hubby's having one of those weeks with work. Somebody has recently left. He's picking up a lot of their work. There's a lot of problems with some of their work that keeps coming in. And yeah, I think we're all having a week of it. But anyway, it's all good. We will figure it all out. So let's get back to some brighter topics and let's go to comments, etc. from the 1st of June. So Ice Ziggy says happy birthday to herself, or to me. She says it's amazing to get to relax and diamond painting while listening to the first waffle of June. After a long, she says, but great day of too much cake and sugar. She said she hopes I had an amazing time away. And she says, remember the 3 B's, which is break, breathe, brew. She said, you've got this. Thank you. That is so apt for today. And definitely for the way things are all over the place today. So thank you for that. Happy belated birthday to you. It sounds like you've had an amazing day if it involves cake and sugar. And I'm so happy I could be a part of that at the end for your little bit of relaxed time. I am just moving this glue dot about in this pen because I keep losing my sticky, and I don't need annoyances like that today. I don't need those little things to annoy me. Oh, that's better. I can hear it. Clink. Love that little noise. Oh, not when it keeps hold of a diamond though. Sarah, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, happy first day of June waffle. And she says, happy June waffle to you and all my fellow zesties. She says she is so excited to do this event again with me this year. She says she's starting with a fresh start, and she sectioned it all off in the same sections as mine, so she can follow along with the same sections each day. She says she can't wait to see Artist's Room finished, which I can't either. It's going to be amazing. She says at the end of the month, she says she's sure it's going to be gorgeous. She says thanks for all that you do for us, and she hopes that my weekend away was relaxing. It was. It's a very long and distant memory. Is my weekend away by now? but we're all good. We are all, in the grand scheme of things, if I actually try and put my tray away on the right tray storage, yeah, it was amazing. And say we're all good in general. We're just having the odd moment now and then. Catherine is currently home. We've just done, I just feel like, because I think it was launch weekend, and all orders got out yesterday, so everything got sort of caught up yesterday. I've caught up on pretty much, I think, all of the admin stuff this morning, so that's sort of all caught up on. But the house suffers a bit because I normally clean at the weekend as sort of part of my pottering. So she's having a bit of a midweek straighten up for me. Because while it's been, the house has been titivated, it's had a spit and a polish in certain areas, or a lick and a promise, whatever phrase we fancy using. It's had all of that, but because it's not had sort of a proper clean through, I just find there's bits. There just ends up, whether it just be paperwork on the windowsill or something that needs moving to another room that's never quite made it. All of that stuff is still going on, so she's having a bit of a straighten up for me today, which is gold, because my brain works a lot better when I'm not seeing stuff that needs doing that just adds to my list in my head. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but yeah, I often, both in sort of shop work that I do and house stuff that I do, quite often I have sort of learned that sometimes I just need to go, no, stop, hold on a minute. I need to straighten, tidy, dust, hoover, whatever it is that's staring at me. I need to, or just even clean my workspace, clear everything off, and then restart whatever task I was trying to do. And I find that even though, of course, that stopping takes time, it takes me less time in the long run by making sure I take those steps. I am much more productive once it's done. So this craft room is my little bit of calm, because this hasn't had the same sort of upheaval as the rest of the house. Rose, she says, hi Rebecca and Zesties. She says, yay, June waffles here. She says one of her favourite times of year. She says she'll be here every day for her 3rd year. So it's her 3rd year doing June waffle. She says she'll be doing off the canvas projects this year, as she is planning her little girls, who's Isabella Rose. Oh, beautiful. She says first birthday on the 26th. Well, happy birthday for her on the 26th. Or for you. Well, and you've made it a year. Sometimes that often needs to be recognised, that you've made it a year, so good going. She says she'll be travelling interstate to celebrate with the whole family, and she says she hopes that I'm enjoying my time away and that she'll see us tomorrow. You will. I will still be here. Every now and then I feel like I'm cutting it fine a little bit more with time, but I'll be here. Unless something physically takes me away from my craft room or prevents me from actually talking to you all, I will be doing June waffle, because it is my little bit of calm, especially in the chaos that we now have. this is my bit of me time. Right, going back to the darker one, I also need some more. So 3857, so I've just tipped another tub in. I have more tubs of this. So because of that, I am going to take the label off. I'm leaving the label on when it's the only one I have, so that I can, on the sort of end of the waffle, I'm going to be tipping the diamonds back into the bottles, because I know it'll be a few days before I can potentially do the de-kitting of it. So yeah, just want to keep the diamonds safe while I'm moving about my craft room. I actually need to do a few unboxings this week, so I'm going to have to make sure. I don't think I'll attempt moving any trays today, but I do need to make sure that I safely move some trays out of the way so that I can do those. But if my painting's finished, I would much rather put the trays away and have the diamonds safe, waiting for my de-kitting to happen. Plus, some of them I'll still have diamonds in the pots, so rather than have to look at two different sets of numbers, I'll just do it so I only have to look at the one, which will be my case of them. Tower Junkie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she's new to my channel because she was looking for some comparison sizes for the type of painting that she wants to do, which is landscapes and sort of busy pictures. She says she has just finished watching my Alice in Wonderland video. She said it was way more busy, she says, than what she has already done. She's only done 3 so far, she says, but if it wasn't for the channels that she subscribes to, she said she would quit in frustration. She says the first 2 is a castle in the clouds and the other is a pier at sunset. She said the castle is bad because she mixed up some of the colours, so she can see her mistake. She says even though others say it looks fine. She says the sunset, unfortunately, a 30 by 40, she said still looks very bad and is quite pixelated. She calls it blurry, she says, because the sunset doesn't look like a sunset at all. She said it's just a blob of colours. She says her third that she bought from Temu is Black Cat's face, and it's 30 by 40, but it's a little bit smaller than the other picture size. So yeah, quite a few companies, depending on the company, will include the border that has no diamonds on as part of their sort of sizing. Some companies include the border, some don't. So premium companies don't tend to, but other manufacturers that do gazillions of photos and don't necessarily work with licensed artists, they tend to include the border. She says it was less expensive than the others she bought, she says, but it is the most stunning picture. She said it looks like a cat she lost in 2012. Oh. She said, actually, she said it's a spitting image of him. She says, including the little bit of white under his neck. She said, so she's back to confused about her next painting. She says she's thinking carousel or lighthouse, but she doesn't want to waste her time on a crappy picture. She said, maybe you could give a noob some advice, please. Oh, bless you. Well, hello and welcome to the channel. In In relation to that, what I would suggest, and if you're new to it, I completely understand working with budget paintings, not wanting to spend an absolute fortune on images, which the premium companies may be a little bit out of your price range. If you are looking for a premium picture, landscape wise, probably Dreamer Designs I would suggest having a look at. But if those prices are way too high, I would look at either Fan Cells or Coup Deals. They're both companies that I've worked with and done plenty of unboxings for. But quite often, not on all, but quite often, if you actually, once you pull up the pictures or the listing on the website and scroll across, quite often they will show you the canvas with no diamonds for you to have a look, and you can actually see what the rendering looks like. And sometimes companies will be willing to send you a picture of what the rendering looks like if you ask them. So yeah, make sure that you're scrolling to the right on the pictures on the actual listing and see if they have a picture of what the canvas looks like, and you should be able to tell by that a little bit better. Of course, you do have to take into account looking at it from a distance. So for example, the ones that you've completed that you're not too sure about, don't forget you're looking at them really close up. And while this picture is amazing, when you're looking at the close up image, you don't necessarily think you have the detail that you want until you take that little step back. So the easiest way to do that and to look at a picture from a distance, or from a diamond painting from a distance, is take a picture of it. So take a picture of your diamond painting and have a look at the picture. Because the amount of times that I actually look up to my camera screen, because it has a screen that flips up so that I can check that I'm in frame. Not that I always am, but I try. Yeah, if you have a look at a picture of it, you may have a different viewpoint. Or it may just be that it just wasn't that good a quality one. But it is amazing how good quality pictures you can get from a 30 by 40. And sometimes it depends on who's producing them as to how good they are, like how good their software is to actually produce said pictures. So yeah, try out those couple of sites and see if they help. Alternatively, if you ask in the group, so put a picture up of the one that you're wanting in the group, and then maybe others have either done the same or something similar, or can suggest a size for you. I wouldn't go too big for yourself or too huge, because they can take a long time to finish if you do that. So the Dreamer Designs ones are bigger for sure, and they will give you amazing quality. However, they will take you quite a few months to do. And if you're happy with that, great. But if you're still at the beginning stages of diamond painting and are wanting those, you know, nice quick wins that maybe take a few weeks, depending on how quick you can diamond paint, then maybe a huge one isn't quite right for you yet. I love the big ones just because I love the quality that I end up getting from the big ones. And I just recognise now that it's the process that I love just as much as the picture. So if it's going to take longer, then it's going to take longer. I currently have a big one that I kitted up just before June Waffle started. I have done no more than I think the first 3 sections that I did on it in one sitting. I haven't done any more in it since. But you know, it's a busy time at the moment. It's a busy time with June Waffle. It's a busy time with life throwing these lovely little challenges at us. So it is what it is, and it will be what it will be. But hopefully that will help you a little bit. Of course, keep watching diamond painting channels. Of course, keep watching mine, but you know, watch others as well, because quite often, and I know people tell me quite a bit, that often little tips and tricks that I give, sometimes I don't even realise that I'm giving you a tip and trick that will help you. I'm just chatting along, having a whip and having a waffle and all the rest of it, and you know, something may just resonate with you within those whips and waffles that you go, oh, that's what I've not been doing, or that's what I need to do. So yeah, try all of those. Right, okay, I feel like I'm a little bit out of sync with some of those, so let's straighten some of those up. I'm actually going to move over to here, and I'm going to try and get this blue section finished, and then I can concentrate just on these pinky colours instead to get this finished up. Susan, she says she can't believe it is June Waffle already. This year has flown so far, but it's also dragged. I suppose that's one of the things that you have with time. It can seem different depending on what perspective that you look at it from. She says she's loving how I'm using the trays. She says she's been wanting to do that for a while now. She says the blue pen is gorgeous. So that's the pen from the first. She says she hopes that me and hubby are having a wonderful weekend away. And thank you so much for sharing. Oh, thank you for being here as always, Susan. Love it when everybody comes on, comments, etc. I did actually notice, because say comments do come through, well, a lot of comments come through via email. Every now and then, if a lot are left at once, I don't get an email for each individual one. But I did notice somebody say that if we keep leaving comments, then I have to do longer whip and waffles in July for longer, which did make me chuckle. We'll get to that comment at some point and it'll get read out loud. But yeah, it's so true. You know, I will get caught up with comments. I just may have to have quite a few longer Sunday whip and waffles until I get there. And it is what it is. And I'll have fun doing them. That's for sure. Dee, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she is one of those who uses the 12 places and she ends up single placing in a couple of areas. She says in one round with the multi-placer. See, I just cannot fathom that out at all. She says she thinks it just happens with time. Okay, so there's hope for me yet. Because even now when I try to do it, I just can't figure it out at all. She says since we've had crazy rainfall this week, she says we've ended up buying a lemon and lime tree to plant in the backyard this weekend. Ooh, sounds very nice. I know we wouldn't have the weather for that here. It's too cold. She says, in addition today, she said she finally had the walking washing machine experience. Ooh, it's been treated like something posh now. I like it. She says, and it scared the life out of her. She says, the noise, she says, she 100% does not recommend. I can imagine it sounds like a jet taking off, which is flipping loud. The washing machine can get quite loud on a spin as it is, never mind if the insides are rattling around on top of the washing as well as the washing. Sue, she says she is glad she is not the only one to put the wrong colour in the wrong spots. No, see, that's another benefit from the Whip and Waffle. I don't cut stuff out. I don't edit stuff. You get what you get, and if I make a mistake, I make a mistake, and then we fix it. The most common one you'll find is that I miss diamonds. I've already done it with an AB today. I quite possibly do it with others as well. But yeah, I keep them all in because at the end of the day, mistakes can happen. Mistakes do happen. And, you know, you need to know you're not alone because you're not alone. This stuff happens. She says second colour in, she was doing D, the symbol D, but she says for some reason she put them all on the 5s. I've done that. It's like your brain goes, nah, just put them all here, even though you know you should be putting them on this symbol. Just put them on this one instead. Excuse me, I don't know where that cough came from. Yeah, she says, of course, there were heaps, and it took ages to take them off and redo. She said it's so frustrating, which I can imagine. It was annoying for me, and I only had a few. She says she's loving the colours in my painting, and she can't wait to see more unfold. She says, hope your weekend away was great. She says, and see you tomorrow with the next section. Thank you. There can be many frustrating parts with diamond painting, or frustrating things that happen. They're not common. More often than not, they're human error in some way. Occasionally pet error. Thinking knock diamonds all over the place, or potentially child error, but things can happen. Sometimes, depending on the size of the frustration, I find that sometimes I just need to walk away, have a minute just to breathe, breathe, make a brew, you know, tell myself off, get annoyed with myself for causing it in the first place. But then what I do find helps is making sure that once I've had that couple of minutes, that I, at a minimum, get it back to the not being the mistake. Not necessarily getting back to where I would have been if the mistake hadn't happened. That sometimes can happen, but that's not my main goal. My main goal is to get back to undo the mistake. So whether that be, if you've dropped diamonds, it's a matter of making sure that they're all picked up. Which tends to sort of fix both of them at the same time. If I've put, say, the wrong diamonds on a very big space and it's annoying, what I try and make sure that I do bare minimum in that diamond painting session is to remove the ones that were put in the wrong place. If I replacing the correct diamonds, or placing those diamonds on the correct symbol, if need be, can happen the next time I diamond paint. That's fine. but actually fixing the problem part first, I find has to happen in that short time frame, because otherwise you just beat yourself up for it for longer. And mistakes happen to all of us, and they can happen at any point. So give yourself a break, get it back to, you know, not being wrong, and then go from there. Or, you know, toss the whole thing out in the bin and call it done. Whatever works. Whatever works, but don't make it so that when you're coming back to diamond painting, the error is still there, because that won't make coming back to diamond painting exciting. It will make it daunting and potentially horrid. So don't do that. It's not worth putting yourself through that. Okay, today's section is done. We are over here. We are moving a little bit down. Oh, we've got a longer section the day after. We'll be moving down here. But yeah, we're moving over to here tomorrow. So thank you so much for bearing with me while I got through today's and my latest dramas. Hopefully things will be a little bit calmer for the next one. We shall see. I'm going to go and have a brew and stuff, and actually I'm hoping to film the next days very soon while I have no Luna in the house. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all again tomorrow.